Hey, it's Dan. Welcome back. You're watching iAllegedly. And got a good one for you today. I'm in San Diego and got a bunch of meetings down here this week. And I'm at Tamarack Beach, which is absolutely beautiful and stunning, but the tide is out a ton. And it is very cool. The surfers are way out there today, but we're getting more warnings and more forecasts about the economy that I think we should look at. So before I get into it, please take a second. Please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. And today we have a sponsor, Patriot Gold Crew, which I'll talk about a little later. Now, first things first, okay? Goldman Sachs steps forward and says, hey, we have a problem with inflation. And with the problem with inflation leads us to one thing, and that is that the Fed is going to have to raise interest rates. And the producer price index, which is the wholesale prices that businesses pay to make things, to build things, to run their business, is only going up right now. And for us to sit down and talk about how this is slowing down is nothing short of crazy. So, with that being said, there's a problem. And with that problem, you're going to see the Fed have no choice but to raise interest rates substantially in the coming months. They thought they would get the Fed rate to 5.5%. We could see it as high as 6.5% and 7%, which is insanity there. What will this do for real estate? Who knows? Okay? I think you're going to see 10% mortgages this year. That's just me. Guys, I want you to think about this. These surfers come out here and surf. They don't come in this far, but look at these rocks that are out here, guys. It's absolutely crazy that this is underneath there as these kids are out here playing on them. But who knew that all these rocks were down here when they're surfing? I sure didn't. Now, the next one to go along with Goldman is Bank of America. Bank of America steps forward and says the same thing, that the Fed's problem is only going to be exacerbated by inflation, that the inflationary problem is not coming down at all. With that being said, you've got to raise interest rates, much more than we thought we were going to. And again, remember, inflation is gone. It's done. You don't have to worry about it. It's ridiculous, guys. Business is getting destroyed. Business is down a percentage that people never anticipated. You know, I started mentioning, the dry cleaners that were down, and contractors and pool companies and everything that's out there. But this is everything, guys. And the problem with it is that this is 2006 and 2007 all over again, because people want to throw money at the problem to fix it. It's not going to work. Not going to work at all. So the problem with it is that money is going to become more expensive for people to get. So your lines of credit, your credit card debt, everything you have to look at right now for your business and how you can get it as cheap as possible right now. Isn't this almost lunar, guys? I mean, this is just absolutely stunning out here. Do you take these warnings seriously? Huh? As we hit President's Day, we just got word that Jimmy Carter is going into hospice right now. The guy's 94 years old. And, I started to become aware of politics, with Nixon. When he resigned, my parents made me involved in that. And Gerald Ford became president. And then, Carter ran for president and beat Gerald Ford. But back in the day, guys, let me tell you something. 76 election, think about this. Everything was, counted basically by hand back then. There were computers and there was some sophistication over the 50s, without a doubt. But I literally went to bed and woke up and my mother told me, hey, I got some bad news. Gerald Ford didn't win. Okay, Jimmy Carter's going to be our president. And it was shocking. But it took all night to count everything, okay? Imagine taking time to count things. Isn't that shocking? Somebody would do that. So Jimmy Carter, a lot of people have said that he's been a better ex-president, a better mentor and guide to other presidents. It's been rumored that Clinton relied a lot on him. It's a rumor that, other presidents have relied on Jimmy Carter. But think about this. Habitat for Humanity, the number one volunteer for that company, and they built houses for the homeless, was Jimmy Carter. And that spurred people putting money towards that like nothing else. So absolutely interesting. Again, I don't get political. You know that, okay? This is a sad time because he's going to the hospice, and I know what that means firsthand, guys. So it's over, guys. It's just a matter of time until there's a presidential funeral, okay? So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. And, it's funny. I was with a friend of mine, and we were just talking about how when we were kids, we used to get Lincoln's birthday off, and then a week later get Washington's birthday off, and then they consolidated it and ripped us off and gave us one holiday for President's Day, which we liked the two holidays, which I'm sure every kid who likes to get school off feels the same way. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. I always love the stories you guys send me. And Elle, who's, really on top of the news, let's just put it that way, sent me a great story about the problems that they're having in the UK with vegetables, especially tomatoes. There's going to be a tomato shortage in the UK that's going to dramatically affect businesses, people eating tomatoes at home, tomato prices, but other vegetables are now affected, and they're basically calling for a food shortage right now. And that people need to prepare themselves because this is going to be bad. And that's something that we're experiencing here. The weather has been off. The weather has been bad, especially here in California. It's starting to rain here again right now. And it's beautiful out here. It really is, you guys. It's 60 degrees. It's not like it's cold. But the problem with a shortage of vegetables is just going to be a problem. And they've seen temperatures there lowered by about 20 Celsius, which has affected the crops, crop management, the farmers, everything. Great story below. Check that out. Now, I am in San Diego County. Below me is Mexico. Mexico has a huge problem right now with raw sewage leaking from Tijuana into South San Diego. And horrible, disgusting. I mean, it's the Tijuana River. Sounds like a vacation spot? Not really. But Tijuana River is leaking raw sewage into San Diego County right now. That is disgusting in every way, shape, and form. And the problem with this, beaches down south from here, 30 miles, are closing right now because of the raw sewage. And because of the wonderful government down there that's not taking care of anything. So, when it rains here, one thing that we have to deal with is the runoff from the storm drains. And you get street dirt, you get, pollution that gets pushed into the ocean. And if you go up on a cliff, and I'll do this sometime when the sun is right, you can literally see the black plume of dirty water hit the ocean, and it's disgusting. But it affects everything. It affects tourism. It affects people swimming. It affects, kids going in there, having classes, having everything. But all these sea urchins out here, just very cool. Something totally different, guys. So share your thoughts on this stuff so far, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm concerned about shortages of meat, shortages of vegetables. F1 racing, the Formula One racing, they just made an announcement that they want to make it crystal clear that they are not going to go to electric vehicles. You're never going to see an F1 car race that will be electric. It's not going to happen. So with that, they say they'll do hybrid, but they'll never have F1. Now, that's fascinating because one thing that's coming up this year, guys, is Las Vegas, through the Las Vegas Strip, is going to have an F1 event. And they're going to have racing. They're going to have, people from around the world that are going to come to Las Vegas to see those cars rip through the Strip. That would be worth seeing, guys. That would see them worth closing the Strip down to see those cars rip down in front of, Caesar's Palace and the Flamingo and the Mirage and all that stuff. But the electric vehicle nonsense is just that, Tesla got, an announcement that, hey, listen, if you don't open up your charging stations to everyone, we're going to limit your funding. And the funding is $7.5 billion. So what do you know? Elon steps forward and says, hey, we're now going to let you charge everything at a Tesla charging station. Okay, that's good. I think it's gonna open it up to everybody else. Now, again, I'm not an electric car guy, so I don't know how things are adapted, what the adapters look like, all that stuff. But that's going to happen so that you're going to be able to charge, your electric car there. I bought gas today, and it was 9 minutes, guys, to buy gas and fill up the car. So with that being said, these people that hang out for hours and, I see people sleep in front of the supermarket as they charge their cars. Maybe they have miserable marriages and they just want to get away from their wives and they want to go charge their cars, but it's very interesting. So share your thoughts on this stuff, guys. Let's talk about our sponsor, Patriot Gold Group. As you walk around distracted by what's happening in the news, you need to be aware of one thing, and that is, the administration right now doesn't care about you. They don't care about your portfolio. They don't care about your retirement. It's really clear. You need to take matters into your own hands, and you need to get an IRA or 401k that's backed by physical metals. Call Patriot Gold today, 888-330-1431, and get a free investor guide. They are the #1 rated gold and silver 401k and IRA for 6 years in a row. #1 rated with Consumer Affairs, but think about this. They have a no fee for life IRA and 401k. It's amazing. If you have an existing IRA or 401k, do what so many others have done. Transfer it over to Patriot Gold today, and they will take care of it. Make sure there's no tax liability for you. Call them, ask them questions, find out. But think about this. You have to do something. You cannot sit on your hands and hope for the best. That's not going to work. You need to call Patriot Gold, 888-330-1431. Get your questions answered, but take care of it before it's too late. Let them know that I allegedly sent you. This place is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. But something serious to talk about, and that is the Discover card. I love the Discover card. Use it all the time. Do you know for the first year, when you use the card, they match your cashback bonus? Okay? It's crazy. They give you bonuses every month, like, hey, if you shop at Amazon, you go to restaurants, we raise it to 2% and 3% of your cashback. Crazy stuff. Fuel, they'll pick it, and they'll have different incentives for you. They just announced something that was rumored to happen, going to happen, and it's going to happen, and that is come April, they're going to start reporting and tracking gun sales and gun purchases and gun-related products. What does that mean? Does that mean a holster? Does that mean a vest? Does that mean a hat that, has an emblem on it or something like that? This is crazy, guys. This is the beginning of the end of your rights to whatever, okay? So it's not fair, guys, okay? It really isn't. And the Discover card is doing this so that they can give people notice about this. Well, they're going to shut people off, guys. That's what this is. They're giving you notice that this is going to happen. Now, from my last video about the central bank digital currency and what's going to happen, so many people have been told and have been warned that Friday, February 24th could be this drop dead date. It may not be, but they think that the FDIC is going to close the banking system down on a Friday night. And we're going to have massive chaos so that people can't get time to go to the banks because they don't want to have a bank run. Think about this, okay? I've studied this extensively. If 1% of the people, 1%, okay, 1 out of 100, went to the bank and pulled their cash out, there would be a bank run and they would not be able to meet the financial demands. Right now, the banking system is what they call fractional banking. And what that means is that when you throw your money into the bank, or you get your Social Security check, or you get your paycheck, they do not have to keep 100% of that money. And through the last decades, not years, they have lowered this percentage to where now it's basically nothing. It's basically down to zero right now, that they don't have to keep your money in there. So basically, it's an IOU. You might as well have Otis the drunk on the corner take your money, because he's just as likely to pay you back as somebody else, a bank and a financial institution. These banks that are out there are going to have massive problems. You're going to see larger and larger banks go out of business. The fact that Goldman Sachs, Bank of America steps forward with more warnings, the warnings, the end of last week, their warnings were the stock market's going to collapse and you're going to see an epic failure. Greg Manarino, who I tout a lot, talks about banking and the financial system crashing at that point from the overnight lenders and the money that these people don't have. And it's just a matter of time until that collapses, which then blows up the entire economic system, including the stock market and everything else. So is that destined to happen this week? Who knows? Who knows? But it is ridiculous for a credit card company to say, hey, in April, we're going to start tracking this type of sales. What is, what's next, guys? That's the question you have to ask. It's not this. Because there's people out there that says, Dan, I don't own anything. I don't own a gun or anything like that. Never bought anything like that. Okay. But seriously, what's next? Is it things that are against the environment, things against cooking, things against animals? Are you going to not be able to buy food, meat, whatever? Okay? Seriously. They're going to track that. And you can say there's no difference. There's a big difference between what Discover's doing and what you're talking about. No, I disagree. I think it's ridiculous because there should be freedom of choice with your shopping. And there's not anymore. It's done. Look at these beautiful herons right here. The financial freedom to go out and to take your money and to buy whatever you want is being stripped away from us. Think about this. It's a credit card, guys. This is something that is a loan, basically, and you have to pay it back. And if you don't pay it back by the end of the month, they charge you interest on that. But hey, we're going to tell you what you can buy. That's crazy. That really is nuts when you think about that, when it's just put in a simple fact like that, because what's next? Okay? We don't want you to have a gas-powered car. We don't want you to be part of the F1 program. We want you to be part of the electric program of racing, okay? That'll be 20 miles long. You know what I mean? Come on, guys. It's ridiculous. And it is utterly ridiculous. But share your thoughts on all this stuff. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this place. You can't make this stuff up, guys. It's a great story below from Barron's, and 27 companies have said, hey, we're going to trim the fat. We're going to cut costs by getting rid of staff right now. And by doing this, it's going to save a ton of money for the company, and it's going to improve our bottom lines. Where are these people supposed to go work? Tesla, AT&T, Tinder, Match.com. Again, there's 27 companies that they did this with. So of these 27 companies that they laid people off, they're saying, hey, this is going to help us financially. Where do these people go? Seriously. Does Tinder people go to Match? I mean, what do you do? So this is a big problem that's only going to get worse right now. And I think that real estate is going to suffer because people that lose their jobs can't pay their bills. The problem with last time, with the liar loans and the ninja loans and the shenanigans loans, is that these people had a low payment, borrow $1 million and have an $1,800 a month house payment. Insanity. It would adjust to where they were priced out of the market, could never have afforded the house, but they were lied to and lied to themselves, saying that they were going to refinance the houses and get themselves a lower payment. It doesn't work that way. You can't borrow yourself out of debt. But eventually, the music is going to stop. These 27 companies from Barron's, the music is going to stop, and they say this is going to help them. How do we trim it? How do you do 2 jobs? A friend of mine's girlfriend works in municipalities, let's put it that way. She worked for a huge company where she was left alone and didn't have to do anything. She switched companies for more money to a smaller group, to where now they want her to do 4 and 5 jobs. And she's like, wow, I work more than I ever dreamed I would ever have to work. And that's what's expected of employees right now. Kroger, the restaurant chain, they just announced that they are emailing, texting, begging workers to come back that they fired because they don't have staff. You can't make this up, guys. You just can't make it up. You can't win. One day, we need to get rid of you to save money. And then Kroger steps forward and says, hey, we need you to come back because nobody wants to work right now. So it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy, guys. This is the beginning of this. This is not late in the game at all. Meta, Facebook, Instagram, all one and the same. Marky Mark just announced that they're going to have you pay to be verified on the platform. So no more free Facebook, guys. Okay? That girl from high school that you've been hitting on, it's going to cost her $12 a month. And people are freaking out about this. So is it worth $12 a month to have Facebook verify you? Okay? I personally don't have the Facebook app because of everything they track. And from a guy who's starting a social media company, there's things you don't want to do. There's things you don't want the litigation for. And that's one of them, guys. Just between you and I and the fence posts and the investors and, staying up at night. But take care of your finances. Get everything in order right now. Trim every cost you can. Get rid of every subscription. Get rid of every extra cable channel. Everything you do not need right now, because frugality, being frugal, is going to be the key to survive this economic downturn. Look at Bank of America, look at Goldman Sachs, and their investment division. The side that a lot of people don't even get to talk to with this, they're telling everybody to cut back. They're telling that the stock market's going to shoot down and that they're going to have an economic collapse on our horizon. And I'm telling you, this is just a beautiful spot to be at. It really is today. It's absolutely stunning. So share your thoughts on all this stuff, guys. Let me know what you think about all this. But once again, these 27 companies that have announced this, they didn't do that by accident. They do this because this is going to save them a ton of money and getting themselves towards profitability. Think about this. Not selling more, cutting costs is going to get them to profitability. What kind of world are we in, guys? It's a downturn. It's less. Do without. If you're getting ready towards retirement, investigate. Do everything you can to make sure your finances are in order, guys. I'm going to end this video with these last few stories. I'm going to start with from one extreme to the other. And the first one is Amazon. Amazon is telling its employees that they have to come back to the office in May. Okay? And Jeff Bezos, he just got his mega yacht completed to the tune of $500 million. So him and the weather girl can go sail the 7 seas, guys. Be nice, okay? And just be magical. Now, This was the boat that in Denmark, where it was being built, they were trying to get a bridge taken down because the boat was so big and because his ego is bigger than that bridge. So that didn't work. But the boat is sailing now. Isn't that I wonder if I'll get an invite. Will you guys let me know if you guys send me an email if you get invited to that. Culver City, California. Culver City, California has one of the greatest restaurants on the planet Earth called Tito's Tacos. Titos. It's fantastic. Okay? Tito's is on the corner, right? Culver City in Los Angeles. Culver City just announced no more homeless people. Cannot camp on the street. It's against the law. Shut it down. Now, here's the thing. I was there about 1.5 years ago, and I had all this food to take home, and I was driving from LA to Orange County, and I pull out in front, and there's 2 cops, LAPD, and I'm like, oh, this is a drag. You guys show up now? And they're like, what's the problem? I said, well, I can't jaywalk with you guys here. And they thought it was hilarious. They go, go ahead, we'll let you jaywalk, go ahead. So, needless to say, I said, before I did that, I said, officer, I gotta ask you a question. Why are there homeless people on that side of the street and not on this side of the street? And Culver City always had a strict line with homeless. And they said, this is Culver City, we're supposed to arrest them over here. That's LA, city of LA, across the street. Literally across the street, lined with tents, guys. So that's what's happening with Culver City. No more. They're going to shut this down, guys. You're going to see more and more people that will not be allowed to sleep in the street. Final story. And I'm always fascinated by people that use the dating sites. And I had dinner with a woman that was telling me how she goes on these things all the time and all her stories. And she had dozens of them. And she could have her own show talking about her dating nightmares. But there's a woman that, very successful, 24 years old, and decided, hey, wait a second, I'm sick of meeting the bums, so I'm going to post my credit score. And she had 17 dates in a week, had hundreds of responses. Leah Nicewander, which is an interesting name, but very successful person, 24, had an 811 credit score, and just said that the quality of men jumped up, and the number of dates jumped up. And what do you guys think about that? So share your thoughts on that. And I just am a bank balance kind of guy. Show me your bank balance, ladies. Kidding, okay? I'm kidding. Anyways, please do not forget to hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget we have an email list, and there is Patreon, which you can get more exclusive content on. And got a bunch of meetings down here in San Diego this week. This is going to be a fun week. And I will see you guys very soon.